Welcome to Good Friday. Welcome to a time when we focus on what it means that Jesus fulfilled his mission for the world. Welcome to Good Friday as we see Jesus take his final drink, speak his final words, cry out to the Father. Welcome to Good Friday as we remember his mission. He called it the kingdom of God. And he told stories and parables about the kingdom of God. The parable called the prodigal son, the good Samaritan, the mustard seed, the unforgiving servant, and many others. Welcome to Good Friday as we remember the kingdom of God. Jesus talked to anybody who would listen about the fact that he came to welcome sinners and tax collectors, orphans and widows, people who were living on the edge of society, the edge of respectable society, and for it, he was reviled, he was rejected, and he was put to death on the cross. Welcome to a time of remembering the kingdom of God, the mission of Jesus. A question that I often ponder on Good Friday is this: was it inevitable, or was it a choice? Could Jesus have chosen to run for the hills rather than face down his opponents, rather than face down death on the cross? Was his mission inevitable, or was it a choice? It was a choice for you and for me. It was a choice in the way that the gospel writer of John says to us that God so loved the world, not part of the world, not most of the world. God so loved the world, and so he gave us Jesus. Was it inevitable, or was it a choice? Jesus made a choice by his death on the cross for more than Lutherans, more than Methodists or Catholics. Jesus made a choice for the world, for Christians, for Jews, for Muslims, for agnostics, for atheists, for people who don't know what they believe. Jesus made a choice for the world, as the gospel writer John reminds us. Was it inevitable, or was it a choice? It was a choice. Jesus chose you. Jesus chose us, because you are worth dying for. And so welcome to Good Friday. Welcome to the fulfillment of the message of Jesus. Welcome to the fulfillment of the kingdom Jesus came to bring. Never forget, on Good Friday or any other time, you are worth dying for.
There's a place where mercy reigns and never dies. There's a place where streams of grace flow deep and wide, where all the love I've ever found comes like a flood, comes flowing down. At the cross, I surrender my life. I'm in awe of you. I'm in awe of you. Where your love ran red and my sin washed white, I owe all to you. I owe all to you, Jesus. There's a place where sin and shame are powerless, where my heart has peace with God and forgiveness, where all the love I've ever found comes like a flood, comes flowing down. At the cross, I surrender my life. I'm in awe of you. I'm in awe of you. Where your love ran red and my sin washed white, I owe all to you. I owe all to you. Here my hope is found, here on holy ground. Here I bow down. Here I bow down. Here, arms open wide. Here, you saved my life. Here I bow down. Here I bow at the cross, I surrender my life. I'm in awe of you. I'm in awe of you. Where your love ran red and my sin washed white, I owe all to you. I owe all to you. I owe all to you. I owe all to you, Jesus.
When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there with two criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And they cast lots to divide his clothing. And the people stood by, watching. But the leaders scoffed at him, saying, "He saved others. Let him save himself, if he is the Messiah of God, his chosen one." The soldiers also mocked him, coming up and offering him sour wine and saying, "If you are the King of the Jews, save yourself." There was also an inscription over him, "This is the King of the Jews."
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they laid him in the tomb?
One of the criminals who were hanged there kept deriding him and saying, "Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed have been condemned justly, for we are getting what we deserve for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise."
Beneath the cross of Jesus, I fain would take my stand. The shadow of a mighty rock within a weary land, a home within the wilderness, rest upon the way from the burning of the noontide heat, the burden of the day. Upon that cross of Jesus, mine eyes at time can see the very dying form of one who suffered there for me. And from my stricken heart with tears to wonders I confess the wonders of his glorious love and my unworthiness. I take across thy shadow for my abiding place. I ask no other sunshine than the sunshine of his face, content to let the world go by, to know no gain or loss. A sinful self, my only shame, my glory, all the cross.
Standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing beside her, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour the disciple took her into his own home. From noon on, darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. And about 3 o'clock, Jesus cried with a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani?" That is, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of the bystanders heard it, they said, "This man is calling for Elijah." At once, one of them ran and got a sponge, filled it with sour wine, put it on a stick, and gave it to him to drink. But the others said, "Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to save him." Then Jesus cried again with a loud voice and breathed his last. After this, when Jesus knew that all was now finished, he said, in order to fulfill the scriptures, "I am thirsty." A jar full of sour wine was standing there. So they put a sponge full of the wine on a branch of hyssop and held it to his mouth. When Jesus had received the wine, he said, "It is finished." Then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit.
See the cross, see him dying, see the blood along the path that he walked, see the nails, see him bleeding, see the breath of life escape as he says, "It is finished." My sacrifice for you, it is finished. And now my work is through. It is finished. See the wounds, see him hanging, see the place a soldier's spear pierced his side, see the crown, see the anguish, see the agony release as he died. It is finished. My sacrifice for you, it is finished. And now my work is through. It is finished.
It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until it was 3 in the afternoon, while the sun's light failed. And the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus, crying with a loud voice, said, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." Having said this, he breathed his last. When the centurion saw what had taken place, he praised God and said, "Certainly this man was innocent." And when all the crowds who had gathered there for the spectacle saw what had taken place, they returned home, beating their breasts. But all his acquaintances, including the women who had followed him from Galilee, stood at a distance, watching these things.
Behold the cross on which was hung life's very Lord, God's only Son, Mary's own babe, so cold and so still, helpless before her on Calvary Hill. Nails in his hands, nails in his feet, a traitor kiss on his cheek, and his pierced heart now broken in two, love crucified for me and for you. Eyes that won't see, ears that won't hear, lips that deny the friend once so dear.